A U.S. congressman is just directly calling out that one of the reasons they want to withhold the Epstein files is because it could implicate Israeli intelligence. This, of course, was Thomas Massie, representative from Kentucky. Take a listen to this.
It's that simple.
Why do you think he is working so hard not to get them released for so many months? What do you think the real reason is?
These files implicate billionaires and friends of his and political donors that he's trying to protect. And Epstein also had close ties to our own intelligence agencies and Israel's intelligence agencies. That's why there's so much effort in trying to stop this. And I do believe they'll try to stop it somewhere else. And that's going to backfire on them too.
So there you go. You heard it. Of course, he said to our intelligence agencies and Israel's intelligence agencies, but knowing how close Jeffrey Epstein was to Ehud Barak and how Jeffrey Epstein was working with the Russians to help overthrow Syria, you can tell his allegiance to the United States was very, very weak to non-existent. Now, here's the thing. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, is very against and was upset that the Epstein files passed in the Senate. He felt like they needed a lot of amendments. And even though Donald Trump previously said he would sign the bill, now Mike Johnson is saying actually Donald Trump might not sign it, which is pretty shocking to hear. Take a listen to this.
Any reaction to Leader Thune seeing the bill without adding amendments or changing it?
I'm deeply disappointed in this outcome. I think I've been at the state dinner. I don't know. I was just told that Chuck Schumer rushed it to the floor and put it out there preemptively. It needed amendments. I just spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens.
So do you think he may veto it? You say you spoke to the president?
I'm not saying that.
Is he supportive of it in its current form?
We both have concerns about it, so we'll see. I was standing there with the Crown Prince. We couldn't talk.
Are you frustrated in the majority leader? Are you upset with the majority leader?
So there we go. Of course, he said he doesn't know if the president would veto it. They have serious concerns. I mean, this wasn't a surprise. There are a few things here. One, today, I previously told you guys last night that one of the loopholes the president of the United States might take is that by claiming that the Jeffrey Epstein files, that Jeffrey Epstein case is now an active investigation again, well, it's going to allow the Department of Justice to withhold files that are influencing an active investigation. I shared this photo yesterday. Let's see if I still have it here. There we go. Now that the Democrats are using the Epstein hoax involving Democrats, not Republicans, and trying to deflect from their disastrous shutdown, I will be asking AG Pam Bondi, the Department of Justice, together with our great patriots at the FBI, to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's involvement in relationship with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, JP Morgan Chase, and many others. Goes on and on and on. Here's the thing. By Donald Trump stating that it's now an active investigation, this wasn't just a simple tweet he put out with Pam Bondi quoting it and saying she will be getting to this immediately with urgency, will pursue. But the fact that they wrote this was in an attempt to make it an active, open investigation. So that way, when people go ahead and try to grab the Epstein files from the Department of Justice, they're going to say, you know what? No, sorry, we can't do that. Here's the thing, though. Thomas Massie knew about that, and he's been hearing that this is something that they might try to do. They, as in the federal government, the executive branch. So Donald Trump said, Thomas Massie posted this on Twitter today, which was on X today, which made me really happy to hear. And he basically stated, if they try to use this, we simply won't allow it. Here we go. Let me go ahead and share my screen here again for you guys. And there we have it. Okay. For anyone hoping to use active investigations, let me zoom in for you guys. For anyone hoping to use active investigations as a reason to withhold the Epstein files, please read the language of the bill. Narrowly tailored and temporary. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Clearly, he's trying to mock Donald Trump there a little bit with that last line. The bill says would jeopardize an active federal investigation or ongoing prosecution, provided that such withholding is narrowly tailored and temporary. Now, here's the thing. It's broad enough, though, and I'm glad that that line, withholding is narrowly tailored and temporary, I'm glad that that line is in there. but temporary doesn't have a definitive end date. Is it temporary until when? Temporary for 5 years, temporary for until the end of Donald Trump's term, temporary for 100 years? It really doesn't say. And I think that broad language there is very concerning. This is what I will say. Donald Trump has been against the Epstein file release for months. He went after Thomas Massie. He went after Marjorie Taylor Greene. And then all of a sudden, overnight, he flipped. Please, give me a break. Do not assume that this man just flipped out of the sincerity of his heart. Clearly, he found another way. He found some other sort of meandering or loophole that allowed him to be like, okay, actually go ahead and release it. Because ultimately, as president, he also doesn't want to give the impression that he's trying to withhold it. So by him saying, okay, go ahead and release it, that's a benefit for him, because then people are like, okay, well, clearly then Donald Trump promised he'll release it. He's not implicated in some sort of way. That's at least the impression the Trump administration is hoping. But at the same time, we all know that nobody could go from being completely upset with these files being pushed for release and then all of a sudden flipping without some sort of ulterior motive there, which a lot now are stating is because of the fact that he's going to claim it's an open investigation. So that's where we're at. However, regardless, people are going to wake up, and what's happening right now is the house of cards is crumbling. It's all falling apart. And the base, the foundational aspect of this that is all coming to crumble, that's all crumbling down, is the fact that Epstein worked for Israeli intelligence. And beyond the fact that beyond who is implicated, which is going to be many elite individuals, and who knows if we'll ever see the light of day. I seriously doubt it. Regardless, though, beyond the fact that it was very elite officials being blackmailed, is who was doing the blackmailing on behalf of who. It wasn't just Jeffrey Epstein. It wasn't just Ghislaine or Ghislaine Maxwell. There was a larger conspiracy going on behind the scenes that had to do with Israeli intelligence. The guy had Ehud Barak over weeks on end. Weeks at a time, Ehud Barak would just show up at Jeffrey Epstein's house in New York. That's not random. Okay, the guy worked for Israeli intelligence. Clearly, he wasn't. He had no interest in benefiting America if he was willing to give compromising information to the Russians. That's fact. We know, however, Israel has no problem giving U.S. military intel to China, giving U.S. military intel to Russia. They've previously done that. That is fact. So ultimately, American citizens are beginning to notice this, and it's a huge red flag for Israel. Mike Johnson, of course, a complete puppet to what is called the deep state, which is really Israeli intelligence, larger interests, billionaire donors. That's when people say deep state, it sounds like such a murky word. I really don't like using it anymore because I think it's important to be very specific. Billionaire elites, the Israeli Mossad, that's really the deep state. The CIA working basically in cahoots with Israel. It's all part of the same billionaire elitist class that is trying to control and sway everything. So I'm glad that Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she recently said on CNN again, bringing up the Israeli ties. Of course, Dana Bash at CNN was trying to ridicule her. Then I also made a previous video on that you guys can check out. But it's not gonna. She just looked ridiculous. People are sick and tired of the BS here. So that's really it for this video, guys. If you found this video interesting, please go ahead and click the subscribe button below. Also, give this video a thumbs up. Would really appreciate some super chats as well. It helps me be able to do these videos more often for you guys. Otherwise, I will see you guys here in the next video. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.